In July 2005, the 7th of July 2005, the British government, through its agencies, blew up tube trains on the London Underground. It doesn't take much research to find this out. Not at all. Not much research. And this isn't nothing new for the British government. It has a long history of murdering people. It doesn't matter what nationality you are. They don't care. It's pragmatism to the British government. The means justify the ends. Now, at the time, we heard that the Israeli embassy had been informed that morning that to avoid the underground, don't take the underground. Now, they were warned by the British government, by a department of the British government, and other embassies were. But the first warning to go out was to the Israeli embassy, and naturally, being that they'd been warned by bureaucrats of the establishment, they took heed. And they didn't go down into the tube stations. Now, it was very convenient that it happened on the 7th of July, 7/7. So it's easy to remember. And everybody will go around saying 7/7, 7/7. What happens with the Twin Towers? Everybody goes around saying 9/11. You're not telling me that the rhythmic is accidental. 9/11 emergency services and all that. Now, with the bombs going off beneath the tube trains, it is clearly evident, and I said this to a senior officer not so long ago, what do you do with the fact that bombs were planted underneath the tube train floors, not placed upon seats? Because passengers who survived said the floors blew up beneath them. And who is telling the truth? Who is the true eyewitnesses? But those that were there, they that suffered. You're sitting there, and right in front of you, right beneath you indeed, the floor blows up. Are you going to say anything different? Doctors testify to it. That all the injuries were forward, not backwards. But of course the media avoids that. They avoid that. They avoid making that the primary issue and asking questions as to how it is that the bombers could have got underneath, right beneath the floors of a tube train and another tube train. They can't. How did people get permission? To come on site when the tube trains were off at night? In the middle of the night, they'd be off. So who's given them permission and access to the network? Oh, some bombers? It would have to be officials. High-ranking officials. Oh, we're doing a training exercise on behalf of Her Majesty's government. That would be the line, wouldn't it? And of course there'd be written correspondence beforehand, informing the rail network down there that this is going to happen, and it is going to happen. And so when the people turn up, when all the tube stations have closed down for the night, they hand in their identification, they've got their people with them, and it's a training exercise. And then they come on site again, training exercise, but that day was when the tube trains got blown up, and they just happened to be in the vicinity on the same line. If you've seen the underground lines, it's not exactly possible for the right people, emergency services, training exercises, to be on the same line at the same, in the same area of that line as the tubes that were blown up. And each one of them, each of the tubes that were blown up, these underground trains, had a training exercise yards up the track. Now then, this is the one of the reporters questioning this senior police officer, and we don't trust police officers in this country because they're working for the government, they're employed by the government, we pay their wages, and they will say anything because it has become politically correct.
Top of Crichton, Sunday Herald for DAC Paddock. Could you clear up this question of a warning? AP are quoting an official from the Israeli embassy in London saying that they received a warning from Scotland Yard a couple of minutes before an explosion, and as a result some of their government officials didn't go to a conference in London. Was there no warning or no intelligence at all?
The information I have at the moment is that there were no warnings given to the police at all.
And any intelligence? That something might happen today?
But the information I have at the moment is that there was no intelligence in our possession that these attacks were going to take place today, and we were given no warning by any organisation that this was going to happen.
How quickly then were other...
Denials. That's the best way, you see. The PR of the police would simply say to these boys, deny everything, say you're ignorant of this, ignorant of that. You are the police. You are the police. How ignorant are the police? When it suits them. And as we say, the PR people, public relations, well, again, it's difficult questions to say, these words, with no information yet, and just deny everything, so that if it comes back at you, you can say, well, I didn't have the information at the time. Now I have the information. And this is the game that goes on. This is the mind games that go on with the senior officers of the police force. Mind games. And it was more than a couple of minutes. Scotland Yard were informed. Now you know Scotland Yard were informed. So that Scotland Yard would then inform the likes of the Israeli government. Particularly the Israeli government. The one that the British government and the US government protects.
Given to the police at all on any intelligence?
Sorry.
Is that there were no warnings given to the police at all.
Just deny.
The information I have at the moment is that there were no warnings given to the police at all.
On any intelligence? That's something might happen today.
But the information I have at the moment is that there was no intelligence in our possession that these attacks were going to take place today, and we were given no warning by any organisation that this was going to happen.
How quickly then were other embassies of foreign governments?
Well, why are you having to repeat this? Once is sufficient. He's over-egging the story, all right? These clips, by the way, they're probably from another scene because it's all cut and pasted. But it is a real event that we know, that we know. But he's over-egging it.
On any intelligence? That's something might happen today.
But the information I have at the moment is that there was no intelligence in our possession that these attacks were going to take place today, and we were given no warning by any organisation that this was going to happen.
How quickly then were other embassies of foreign governments alerted to the situation?
I'm not in possession of that information.
Okay. Question front.
Sorry.
Top.
How they deny, innit? Play piggy mind games. This is what we have in this country. A nasty, nasty, nasty bunch of people, these. Of course the Israeli embassy came out. They came out themselves and said, we were warned. Now, if we, the members of the public, are told by the Israeli embassy that they were warned, and this fella here says there was no warning, who are we going to believe? Well, certainly not going to believe these boys. Oh boy, oh boy.
Question of a warning. AP are quoting an official from the Israeli embassy in London saying that they received a warning from Scotland Yard a couple of minutes before an explosion. And as a
More than a couple of minutes before an explosion, actually, but still, go on.
result, some of their government officials didn't go to a conference in London. Was there no warning or no intelligence at all?
The information I have at the moment is that there were no warnings given to the police at all.
See, the information that I have at the moment is the subtle buggers, you know. Oh yes, as I said in my press conference, at this particular time I had no information. Go on.
On any intelligence? That's something might happen today.
But the information I have at the moment is that there was no intelligence in our possession that these attacks were going to take place today.
Yeah, deny. What the buggers do, you see, is keep denying and denying, pushing it to others to actually prove things, and then they go, well, can't get out of this. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, no. And this is how they prove it. This is how they do. Deny. But when you box them into a corner, they will either accept or run off. the general terms are that they run off. You know, they blank you, as they say.
And we were given no warning by any organisation that this was going to happen.
How quickly then were other embassies of foreign governments alerted to the situation?
I'm not in possession of that information.
I'm not in possession of that information. Do you know these persons here get paid over 100,000 a year, and perks and expenses on the top of it, for sitting round drinking cups of tea or coffee, jabbering with their mouths, not doing a decent day's work, and probably never done a decent day's work in their lives. And at some stage in their life, always comes, chickens always come home to roost, they will begin to regret living a dishonest, untruthful, deceitful life. That's how it is. You sow the wind, you'll reap the whirlwind. It comes back. Comes back to haunt them. Dishonesty always does. Always does. It's only a matter of time. Just let them grow into more dishonesty, and then there's a reaping. There's a harvest. There's an opening of their consciences, and they become bitter and nasty and twisted and angry. People that you wouldn't like to associate with. The US government destroyed those buildings in 2001, murdering all those people and continuing to murder from the fallout of those buildings. And in 2005, the British government had decided we're going to do the underground. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, if you look it up, aside from the fact that the bombs blew up beneath and that the Israeli embassy in particular was warned not to use the underground, that there was training exercises, okay, along the track, just in the right place, just in the right time, on the right day, on the right year. And previous to that, 2 weeks prior to that, there was a training exercise going on. How is the coincidence, even in that, to be explained? Of all the years, of all the months, of all the days, of all the times, they just happened to pick upon that. Never since, and never before, have they had training exercises. You name me one that's going on at this very day. Training exercise for the tubes. There isn't. There isn't. And there wasn't one before this incident came off at the end. As we say, there was two weeks earlier, they were doing training exercises. Everything was prepared in the open air, etc. And then all of a sudden this goes off and there's no more, it goes back to normal, no more training exercises. The dirty deed was done. The dirty deed was done. Lives don't count to the British government. They don't count at all, except if it's their own particular friends. Tavistock Square bus was not blown up with people on it. That turned out to be a bus that was parked up purposely in Tavistock Square and then blown up without people on it. And they had to employ people to pretend to be injured. Okay, that is also on the footage.